All right, welcome, Fairdale families. Sorry, I know we're having technical difficulties. Hopefully, you were able to switch over. Um, how can I tell?
Let me check right there.
Okay. Do I have anybody online? Nobody's answering. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start just sharing some information about NTI. I hope that everybody was able to switch over. We had trouble with the link before and the computer that we were using, so we've had to switch computers really quickly and change where we're doing our discussion tonight. I can't tell if anybody's on here, Travis. It's me. But now people are switching.
You're switching?
It says 3 people now.
Good.
Hey, I see when people are switching. I'm glad. Again, really sorry for the delay. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes to see if we have some more people switch over. No, just 2, 3.
I'm with you now.
All right, good. All right.
I'll show you that.
All right, I think we're going to get going. People are switching over. Again, really sorry for the technical problems. Yeah. I know. I do think I lost everyone. I'm sorry. Great. I think people are switching over to this one now. We had lots of trouble with the other link. I'm not sure what happened. Hello, hello. Welcome.
Hey.
I'm going to go ahead and kind of get started sharing some information, and we can always back up and go over things again as people join us. Again, really sorry for the technical difficulties. We were ready to go on time, and then our cameras wouldn't work, so I had to switch computers, and we're starting over. So, welcome to our town hall. I'm going to share some general information about how NTI is going to work, and just some general information about the schedule and where you can get additional information if you need it. And then I will answer questions as they come up. You can either put your questions in the chat or you can tweet them at Fairdale High. Mr. Burden is helping man Twitter tonight so that he can help me see your questions on Twitter, and I will try to answer those as we go tonight. So, first of all, the first day of school is August the 25th. That is the first day of school for all of the students. And it will be using non-traditional instruction online through Google Classroom. So students will log in using their login and passwords that they've used. Either if you were a student at Fairdale in the spring, then you use that login and password for spring NTI. If you were a student at another school, your same login and password will get you into your Google Classrooms here at Fairdale High School. So you'll use the same login and password that you've always used to get into your Google Classroom. We have a new schedule for NTI. It is a regular school day, but it looks a little bit different. We did go with an alternating schedule where you will have your first, second, and third period classes on Monday and Wednesday, and your fourth and fifth period classes on Tuesday and Thursday. And Friday will be advisory, and then we will have RISE following advisory. And if you are a student at Fairdale, you know what RISE is. If you're not, we're going to teach you all about it next week. So you'll tune in for RISE if you need help in one of your classes, or you can participate in some online enrichment activities and clubs and organizations that will be having meetings during RISE on Fridays. So it is an alternating schedule. Again, Monday, Wednesday will be first, second, and third period. Tuesday and Thursday will be fourth and fifth periods. And you will have advisory and RISE on Fridays. Students are required to be online every day. We are starting classes at 11:30, and so we're not so early in the morning. And we did break them up so that you only have 3 hours of screen time a day. So it's still pretty flexible in that you don't have to be online real early in the morning. You'll get started about 11:30 each day, and then you'll be finished by 2:30 each day. So just so you know, it is required participation every day. Students will have to show their faces in their classes with their teachers. Teachers will be doing live instruction every day as part of their class. So if it's Monday and your student has first period at 11:30, then their teacher for their first period class will be live working with them online at 11:30 every Monday. So it is synchronous instruction during that time. We also, again, this year, just like we did in the spring, we'll be using Google Classroom. For all of our classrooms, we'll run through Google Classroom and use the Google platform. So if you have any questions about Google Classroom or how Google Classroom works, I sent out a video today, and I shared a link for a video on how to access Google Classroom as a parent. And so you can use that link to kind of learn a little bit about how Google Classroom works. Students are pretty familiar with Google Classroom. They've been using it for a while, both at school, and then we used Google Classroom in the spring. And so they'll be very familiar with it. Someone asked, what about those that work and don't have a flexible work schedule? It was pretty impossible to plan a school schedule around every possible work schedule. So we kept it within what would be the normal school day. We tried to provide some flexibility by starting a little bit later in the day so that if, brothers and sisters were helping their little brothers and sisters in the morning, they would still be able to do that. However, we kept it within the normal school day, what would be the normal school hours. And there was no way to work around what would be everyone's, work schedule. So I understand that you might not have a flexible work schedule. but it is, in the middle of what would be the normal school day. So we did our best to provide the flexibility that you need while at the same time, keeping it within the regular school schedule for all of our students and for our teachers and staff. The other things to share, if you have not seen your schedule yet, if you're a student and you haven't seen your schedule yet, you'll be able to access your schedule through Student Portal. We are not mailing out schedules. We won't be handing out schedules at registration. You will have to get your class schedule either through Google Classroom, which are all set up, and you can see your schedule through Google Classroom, or you can do that by logging into your Student Portal account, and you can access your class schedule through Student Portal. And if you're not sure how to do that, or if you're a parent and you're not sure how to tell your student to do that, there are some videos at the JCPS website that will help you get into your Student Portal. And you'll use the same login and password for Student Portal that you use for your Google Classroom. Yes, live instruction will be in Google Classroom using Google Meets. That is the tool that we will use for the live instructional part of the day. That was a good question. The additional guidance will be given to kids during their first class on Tuesday, the 25th. And because it is a Tuesday, the first class they visit will actually be their 4th period class, because we are keeping with the alternating day schedule, even in the weeks when we don't have school on Monday. There are a couple of weeks coming up where we don't have school on Monday, but we will still keep the alternating schedule so that we don't have, changes in the schedule from week to week. It'll stay the same every single week. Monday, Wednesday, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd period. Tuesday, Thursday will be 4th and 5th period with advisory and rise on Fridays. And that will remain constant throughout the entire NTI period. There is an NTI toolkit that if you go to the JCPS homepage, you will see an NTI portal and a parent's toolkit. There's also a student toolkit and a teacher toolkit. If you click on that NTI portal and go to the NTI toolkit, you will be able to click on Fairdale High School. And when you click on Fairdale High School, it takes you to our school portal where you will find a list of teachers, and you can click on the teacher's name and it'll take you directly to their home page, which will have their office hours listed. It'll have the syllabus available for students to click on so they know and parents know what the expectations are for that class. Lots of information on the teachers' home pages to share with students and with families. So go through the NTI portal, click on Fairdale High School, and it'll take you to the page with all the teachers listed. And you can click on each teacher that your child has to figure out, kind of the expectations for that class, what your students will be working on in class, what standards they'll be working on, and what content they'll be working on. All of that will be available on each teacher's homepage. If you do not have a device, if you do not have a Chromebook or a computer at home, or you are struggling with Wi-Fi access, you can still request a device. In the spring, there were some parameters around who could get a Chromebook and a hotspot. That is not the case for the fall. Every student can request a Chromebook. If you are a family that does not have an internet connection at home, or you struggle with internet access, we can provide you with a hotspot so that your kids can get online and use Google Classroom and engage in the NTI process. If you don't have a device right now, and you have kids in your household, every kiddo is going to need something to work on. It's going to be really hard to share because every student will be involved in NTI for the fall. So we would love to be able to provide each student with a device. So if you need that, please check out the device request form that's available on the JCPS webpage. It's at the very top of the page. You click on it, it takes you to a form that you fill out. You agree to the terms and condition for using a provided Chromebook or a provided hotspot. And then we are doing registration this week, and we will be doing Chromebook distribution as part of registration. So it's a drive-through process. You'll drive through, we'll hand you the Chromebook and or the hotspot if you need it, and you'll be able to take those home and get started with them right away next week. if you need a device, you have to complete that device request form before we are able to give you a device. The student can complete it. It doesn't have to be a parent that completes the device form. You can access it using a student email account. So if you're not sure how to do that, make sure you get your kiddo to help you finish that device request form. But we want to get those handed out as soon as possible so that everybody's ready to go live on the 25th. Okay. Let's see, go down the list and make sure I cover everything. If you are kind of not sure about what our registration information is, I shared that in an email that came out last Friday. It went out to all families. So check your email. If you haven't checked your email in a while, it will go to the email address that you gave us here at the school as your primary email. So check for a message from the school on Friday. It has all the information you need about our registration process. We do have a registration website set up that you will be able to see which option works best for you. We have several different ways that you can complete registration this year. We're doing a drive-through in-person process. If you would prefer to do it in person, do registration in person. We also have the forms for registration available online. You can complete them online and just do them electronically by setting up a parent place account. You can print them and bring them with you filled out and just drop them off. Or you can come here to the school and we will have some paper copies of the forms that you can fill out right here in the parking lot and then just hand them back. If you have an address change, you will have to show your address verification in order for us to complete your enrollment paperwork. So our records clerk and attendance clerk will be here to help with that stuff on registration day. Registration is on Wednesday, August the 19th from 9:30 to 12, and then again from 5 to 7 in the evening. We will also have registration on Thursday from 9:30 to 12 in the morning, and then again from 5 to 7 in the evening. And you can come either one of those days at either one of those times. It's not by alphabet or anything like that this year. It's just to come during one of those times. And there will be people in the parking lot to direct you based on which registration path you're wanting to take. Okay, so plenty of help, people to help direct you. Do we come at any time? Yeah, you can come at any time during those registration times. It is not set up by class. It's not set up by last name or anything like that. It is just to come, between those hours, 9:30 to 12 or 5 to 7 on either one of those days. And that's the 19th and the 20th. So we'll be doing registration for 2 days. If you filled out the Chromebook registration with a phone number, will you have to provide that number during the pickup? No, you will not have to provide that number. When you used that number, it attached to a student. And so we have student names who have requested Chromebooks. And so that's how we will find that you've completed the request form based on the student. So you don't need to have that phone number necessarily. Okay. All right. I think I've answered everything in the chat for now. So I'm going to move on a little bit. Freshman Academy. If you have a freshman student, we are doing a virtual orientation that will be available on the YouTube channel that you're on now. It'll be available on Wednesday. It is a series of videos, and so you'll be able to view it at any time on Wednesday or after. So you don't have to worry about being on there at a certain time to see it. It'll be available starting Wednesday, and you can watch it at any time of the day. And it will stay there on the YouTube channel so that you can view it again or view sections of it again if you want to later. But I hope that if you have a freshman, the freshman students will take some time to watch the orientation. It does a really good job. It takes all of our students on a virtual tour of the school so that they get the feeling of what it's like to be here in the building. I know some of them have never been in the building, and that is very stressful to think about starting high school on a computer and not actually stepping foot in the building. So we want to make sure that they're comfortable and know what the school looks like. They'll have the opportunity to see introductions from all of the teachers in the freshman academy, the administrators and the counselors. Everybody's taped some videos for them so that we can share expectations and introductions with all of our ninth graders. I think that's all kind of the basic information that I had to share. Are there any other questions that I can answer for you? If you have questions, you can put them in the chat or you can send them via Twitter. Mr. Burden is manning the Twitter account back here. So
I'm about to send some links in the chat box too.
Okay. And he, like he said, he's putting some links in the chat box that'll be helpful. You can click on those to see some of the documents that we were talking about tonight, like the schedule and all of the registration information. There's a link that you'll be able to click on there to take you to the registration website. All right. That's a good question. When we're online for our classes, do the children's cameras have to be on or can you just use audio? You will have to have your camera on. We're going to talk to kids about how they can change their backgrounds if they're not real comfortable sharing their backgrounds, but they will have to be live and in person and we'll have to see a face. So it will be audio and video used in the Google Meet for classes. All right. Anything else? Is there anything I can answer for anybody? This is very different than NTI in the spring. So I know that NTI in the spring was very stressful and it, everything kind of came up suddenly and we were kind of forced into an online situation and it wasn't real clear how to navigate that. So this time will be very different. It is way more structured like a school day. There is an expectation that kids are online every day and that teachers are teaching live every day. So it is a little bit different. If you registered online, do you have to come one of the days? No. The only reason you would need to come if you finished all of your registration online through Parent Place is if you requested a Chromebook. We are doing Chromebook distribution those 2 days, but if you've completed all of your forms online, you don't have to come either one of those days for registration. If you're in band, when and how do you get your instruments? Mr. Weiner and Mr. Burkhead will be in Building 2 distributing instruments during registration. So you can come during that time to get your instrument if you want. They're also going to set up some other times in the following week for you to be able to come up, drive up, and get your instruments. When will the district have all of your Google Classroom set up? They have been working hard on getting those all set up. So the teachers were able to see their classrooms today. Hopefully you will have access to your Google Classrooms. I'm hoping by the end of the week is the hope. Your schedules will not be mailed. You'll have to access your students through Student Portal. And you can do that at any time. The district does have some, they kind of lock down the access to schedules for a little while they get all the classrooms set up. But you'll be able to access that through Student Portal. They won't be mailed. All right, I think.
When will they be provided their schedule?
Yeah, I think I just answered that one. Like I said, the being provided their schedules, they will go through Student Portal to get their schedules. We're not going to be mailing out schedules. You'll have to access those through Student Portal. That's okay. Ask as many questions as you want. It says my son will be a freshman. I'll probably have a lot of questions. Absolutely. Ask as many as you want. Can you drop medical kits off to Fairdale instead of Seneca? I'm not sure what you mean by medical kits. Are you talking about medical forms or medications? If it's a medical form, you can fill it out online, or you can bring your medical form here to school, and we will get those to the right office. But we are not accepting any medications that are going to be dropped off here at the school until the kids are actually face to face. Yes, I do believe we will be back face to face at some point this year. I just don't know when that will be. Dr. Polio is going to reevaluate about mid-September to determine, when we would be able to return to face-to-face instruction. And but yes, you will be back in the building at some point for face-to-face instruction. Have sports started? So some of only our fall sports have started conditioning, but they have not started any official practices yet. Right now, according to KHSAA, the first day for official fall sport practice will be the 24th. They are having a meeting on Thursday, the 20th. The KHSAA Board of Controllers is having a meeting on the 20th to make sure that, health-wise, we're ready to go forward with that plan to get started on the 24th. But as of right now, the official first day of athletic practices for all fall sports, except golf is already happening. But all the other fall sports will be August the 24th, will be the first day of practice. The fall sports, though, are conditioning. They've been conditioning for a few weeks. They just do small group conditioning exercises with no interaction at all. So, right now they are conditioning. If your child's interested in playing a sport, if you would drop in the chat box there which sport, I will make sure that I get you the coach's name. I'll let you know which coach and how to contact them, okay? Oh, okay. So I see what you're talking about. CTE, to do kits for CTE. You are welcome to bring any of the, I know exactly what you're talking about now. I'm sorry for the confusion. If you're going to be donating supplies for a CTE kit, if you want those to be used here at Fairdale, you certainly can drop those off here at Fairdale, and we will use those with our pathway. We do have our career pathways, and we will be putting together some NTI to go kits. So if you have some supplies you want to donate for that, you can drop those off here at this school if this is where you want them to go. So football, Coach Dover, you can get in touch with Coach Dover. I'm going to put his email here in the chat, and you can drop him an email, and he will get with you about football. He's our head football coach. All right. I think I've answered all of them there. Mr. Burden, do you have any others from Twitter?
I've got one coming in, they're typing.
Okay.
I don't know if you can help, just about scheduling online, how to get it.
Okay. So the best way to get a student schedule online is to go through Student Portal. If you're not sure how to access Student Portal, there are very clear directions on the JCPS website, and you can, it will kind of walk you through with some videos about how to access Student Portal. They will use the same login and password that they used at their middle school, or if they were a student here last year and were using Google Classroom. It's all the same login and password on Student Portal as it is for Google Classroom or any other JCPS thing. So that's how they'll access their schedules, is through Student Portal. And if you need directions, the JCPS webpage has very clear directions, and they'll even give you some help. If you're not sure what your login and password are, or your student can't remember, they can call the school, and Miss Angie Matos will help them get their login and reset their password. So if you need any help with logins and passwords, please just call the school tomorrow, and Miss Maddows will be willing to help you.
And also put that link in the chat box.
Okay, and the link for the JCPS webpage, the Help with Student Portal, is in the chat box.
Under my name.
Under Mr. Burden's name. Can we open our student emails using the home computer? You should be able to. If you go to the JCPS webpage and your student logs into webmail, they should be able to answer any student emails using a home computer. When will students need the CTE kits? We probably won't pass out any NTI to go kits either for art or for CTE pathways until somewhere around the 3-week mark. We want to make sure we get everybody into their Google Classrooms and everybody participating and get started, and then we'll start working on the different kits. So if you are, trying to get some donations, you got a few weeks to worry about it before we'll start passing those out. And the teachers will put together the kits based on what they're teaching at the time. So if you have a student who's taking art, the art teachers will put together art supply kits for kids to come and do a drive-through and pick those up and take those home with them so that they can do their art projects for a few weeks at a time. If they're in a CTE pathway and they need a kit for that CTE pathway, the CTE teachers will put together the kit that they need for that particular concept or that set of skills and have those ready for drive-through pickup. How do you get to the teacher login standards on the NTI portal? If you go to the JCPS webpage and you click on the NTI toolkit, and Mr. Byrne, maybe you can put that. Right, okay, he's putting that in the chat right now. If you go to the NTI toolkit, you can click on that NTI toolkit, and then you click on Fairdale High School. And when you click on Fairdale High School, it will take you to a list of all of the teachers at Fairdale High School, and you click on each of your teachers, and it will help you get to their webpage. Each of them has created a landing page with some information on it, so you'll be able to get to those pages from there.
I just posted it.
All right, Mr. Burden just posted it in the chat under his name. All right, any other questions? I'm sorry, I'm not the best on video today. I'm trying to follow the chat. We had it all set up so I could be way more efficient, and then my link wouldn't work. So.
Contact freshman counselor.
So freshman counselors are based on their career pathway. So it would depend on what career pathway your student has chosen as to who their counselor is. There is a link on the NTI portal page for Fairdale for the counselors. So you can access them that way, or you can drop them an email. If you're not sure who the counselor is, you can always call the school, and we'll make sure that the message gets directed to the appropriate counselor. Law enforcement, that'll be Miss Smith, Dottie Smith. I'm going to put her email in the chat box here, and you can reach her best by email. Any other questions that we can answer for you tonight? get a link on how to get to the student's email. That will also go through the JCPS webpage, the JCPS homepage. If you go to that homepage, the JCPS webpage, which is you can put, if you type this into your search engine, it'll take you to the JCPS webpage, their homepage. At the top, it'll add, you have to click on whether you're a student or if you are, staff or employees. Click on student and it will give you a bunch of options to help you go in whatever direction it is that you need help with. So if you're needing help with email, if you click on that student tab on the JCPS homepage, you'll be able to find information to help you with email. If you're just wanting to get your student email address, it's typically your first name dot your last name dot stu at jefferson.kyschools.us. Anything else, Mr. Burden? All right, guys. Well, if I don't have any more questions, I'm going to wait a couple more minutes to see if you guys have any additional questions. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. If not, I want to thank you very much for tuning in tonight to do our first town hall, which had plenty of technical difficulties, but we've overcome, and I'm really happy to be able to talk to everybody. I appreciate you tuning in and asking questions tonight. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to call the school. Please feel free to call the school, and we'll help you and get your questions to the right people here at the school to answer. I'm going to put the school phone number in the chat just in case somebody needs that. Alex, why don't you call school tomorrow and we'll see if we can figure out how to get you to what it is you're trying to look at. I'm not real sure what it is you're trying to get to. So you should be able to navigate to your email the same way that you do when you're here at school. So if you call tomorrow, I'll see if Miss Angie can help you get the information you need. Okay.
I'd like to add to anybody still watching, if you would subscribe to our channel, any future live videos that we make, you'll be notified.
All right.
So be sure to hit that subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button, please. All right, I'm going to sign off for the night. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if one other question. No, actually, Miss Ramey is not teaching the teaching and learning pathway anymore. She is now a guidance counselor at Shawnee High School. So Miss Garrett will be the new teacher for the teaching and learning pathway here. Miss Garrett has been a teacher here for about 10 years, and she has taught senior English, but she is going to be the new teaching and learning pathway teacher. So we're really excited for Miss Garrett and for all the students to have a new teacher. Miss Ramey is very happy in her new guidance counselor role. All right, guys. You all have a great night, and we'll see you at registration this week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.